Hello, so today I'm going to share 4 secrets to losing weight and keeping it off for good. Tip number 1 is to find a way to fall in love with the process of losing weight. So many of us try to lose weight by forcing ourselves to follow these strict diets and meal plans and exercise programs that we don't actually like, and we can't see ourselves doing them for life. We think that the end justifies the means, and once we've lost the weight, it's going to be totally worth it. Except unfortunately, that's not usually what happens. We don't like the diets, we don't like the meal plans, we end up burning ourselves out with exercise, and at the end of the day, either we end up quitting, or if we are successful in losing weight, we haven't learned the skills we need to maintain that weight. So eventually we just end up gaining the weight back because we go back to our normal habits because we didn't enjoy the diets that we were following. So the real secret to being able to lose weight and actually keep it off is to find things that you really enjoy doing. Find ways of eating that you enjoy and that make you feel good. Find ways of exercise that you love to do and that you look forward to doing. And one way that I like to think about this is when I'm about to do something, I'll ask myself, can I see myself doing this for life? And if the answer is no, then I'm going to have to find a better way of doing it. You really can learn to love the process of losing weight, and you really have to as well if you plan to keep it off. So secret number 2 is to start with the first step instead of worrying about the whole staircase. When most of us embark on a weight loss journey, we try to do everything all at once. We're focusing on the entire staircase. We're trying to change our diet. We're trying to exercise more. We're trying to follow a meal plan. We're trying to drink more water. We're trying to stress less and meditate. And we can usually keep up all of these huge changes for a few weeks, maybe even a month or so. But eventually, we're going to burn out because they're not real habits that we've created from the ground up. We're just trying to force it, and we can never keep that up long term. And usually the way it all falls apart is when something happens and we can't follow the plan that we've set out for ourselves. So maybe a stressful thing happens in your life, or you can't control what's going on. So you're eating at a restaurant, you've got a lot of events back to back, you're on holiday. These are all times when things can't go according to plan, and you still need to know how to naturally just live as the person you want to be, rather than getting stuck having to follow these specific plans if you want to get a result, because that's not real life. Instead, try starting with just one thing that's really doable for you right now. And I know it doesn't sound exciting, but if you can just start with one thing, you're going to remove all of that overwhelm, and you're going to really learn how to ingrain those habits so they become a natural part of your life. And that is how success happens. So instead of embarking on this daily exercise workout program that's super intense, maybe just going for a short walk is what's doable for you. Instead of jumping into some restrictive diet and a meal plan that tells you exactly what to eat at every meal, maybe you just start by focusing on eating what you're already eating slowly and not actually changing what you're eating. These are the things that we see over and over again lead to the most sustainable results with weight loss. And once you get some wins by following your small doable action, you're going to actually create that momentum that then means that you can stack new habits on top, and you're going to be able to keep doing more rather than doing so much at once and then just burning out because you haven't built up that tolerance. So many of us struggle with this concept because we come into it with this perfectionist mentality, and we think that if we're not perfectly working out every day, or if we're not perfectly eating these curated healthy meals for every meal, that we're not doing it good enough and we're not going to win. But that is very far from the truth. If you want to be successful in weight loss, you've got to remind yourself that doing something is always better than doing nothing. Going for a 5-minute walk is better than not going for a walk at all. Secret number 3 is get honest with yourself. And this is one that is very difficult for a lot of people because we like to avoid those hard emotions and the things that actually really move the needle. We'd rather focus on the surface level things like workouts and nutrition. But the things that really work for weight loss are actually getting your mind right and actually taking responsibility for your own life and getting honest with yourself about what you're really eating and how much you're really eating. Because usually we get into this habit of like feeling like we're doing everything right and like we don't know what's going on and we don't know why we're not seeing the results we want. But if we step back and we sit down in a non-judgmental way and we actually look at what we're really doing, usually we'll be able to actually identify why we're in the position we're in. It's never by chance. It's never that your body is just broken. It's usually a combination of many habits, behaviors, and thoughts that have led you up until this point. And if you do want to take that next step, get to that next version of yourself who maintains their weight loss effortlessly, you are going to have to be able to look at what you're currently doing in a non-judgmental way and be honest about everything that's going on right now. Be honest about how much you're eating, what you're eating. Be honest about those extra few wines that you have on the weekend or those times where you skip the gym. Be honest about how much you're sitting during the day and those times when you eat chocolate because you just feel sad. And it's okay to admit these things, and it's necessary to admit these things to ourselves. And they don't mean that we're bad people. They mean that we're human. It's only when you can admit the truth, the uncomfortable things that are going on in the background that we're trying to avoid, it's only then that we can then take meaningful steps towards our weight loss goals. So one of the best and easiest ways to take complete ownership of your journey and get really honest with yourself is through journaling. And journaling is one of those things that a lot of us find very difficult. And the reason we find it difficult is because we're trying to avoid the truth of our situation. We're trying to avoid the feelings that are uncomfortable. We're trying to avoid admitting the behaviors that we have that we aren't necessarily proud of. So journaling and writing down what's actually going on and how we're feeling and what we're thinking, it can be difficult if you're not used to doing it. But it's going to be the best thing you ever do for yourself. It is the most valuable practice in any weight loss journey and in any life journey, really. If you can get used to writing down what's going on, it's a very valuable tool for getting your thoughts out of your head onto paper, removing that overwhelm, and really just honing in on your focus and clarity towards your goals. And the truth of the matter is, people who journal find weight loss easier. And usually when we have people who we're working with who don't see results, when we ask them, are they journaling? They'll usually say no. Oh, I haven't really been doing it. Journaling's pretty hard. I don't really think that it's going to work for me. They're the people who don't see results. And they don't see results because they're avoiding these things in their life. So they're trying to dance around what's really going on, and they're trying to find quick fixes, or they're trying to find a better diet, and they're just trying to find some other answer that doesn't involve actually looking at what they're really doing with their life. And as long as you avoid, those things are always going to be swept under the rug and they're always going to grow, right? So the monster that you can't see, that you push away, it grows and it becomes so much bigger in the future. And that's one of those reasons why people can't keep the weight off after they lose it, because they're still not addressing the actual underlying causes of their weight. So at the end of the day, you've really just got to commit to doing the hard work. And a lot of the hard work isn't physical work, it's emotional work. All right, and secret number 4 is that mistakes are the key to weight loss. As I mentioned before, perfectionism has no place in any weight loss journey. it is going to be the number one thing that keeps holding you back and it keeps sabotaging you. So there's a quote, and I can't remember who said it, but perfectionism is the lowest possible standard you can have. And that is so true in this case. When you try to be perfect all the time, you'll feel like nothing you do is ever good enough. You'll feel like your diet isn't good enough for weight loss. You'll feel like your exercise isn't good enough for weight loss. And what will happen is you'll keep subconsciously sabotaging yourself, and you'll prove that thought to be true. The more you feel like it's not good enough, the more it won't be good enough. And the truth is, no one who has successfully lost weight for life has done so without making mistakes along the way. Mistakes are part of the journey. And in fact, they're a very valuable part of the journey, because when we do something and it doesn't work, we then get to learn from that experience, and we get to look at that and go, okay, that didn't work. What can I do now instead to get a better result? And the key here to getting these learnings from our mistakes is removing the judgment and the shame that we usually put on ourselves when we make a mistake or something doesn't go according to plan. You've got to learn how to talk to yourself in a better and more positive way if you plan to successfully lose weight and keep it off for life. It's all about the self-talk. So understanding that one pizza night is not going to ruin your goals. But if you use that one pizza night and you put yourself down, you call yourself a failure for having pizza when you didn't plan it in, then what's going to happen is that self-judgment is going to cause you to feel guilt and shame, which is going to cause you to then make less desirable choices on from there, and it's going to snowball, and then it's going to keep making you feel worse and making you make these worse decisions that aren't serving you for future. So the best thing to think about when you make a mistake is to remember that you're only one positive choice away from changing your life. You're really only one decision away from getting back on track and continuing on and learning from that mistake and then doing better in the future. And that is the biggest key to weight loss and to keeping weight off for life, is to never let small things derail your progress. You will have times where you eat food that didn't make you feel good. You'll have times where you skip the gym. You'll even have times when, you overeat and then you make yourself feel guilty for it. But what you've got to do is you've got to get back on the horse the next day or even the next moment. You've got to go, okay, that's part of the journey. I keep moving forward. You can't let those small things completely derail you or make you quit or make you question everything you're doing, because they're just part of it. So that's it for the 4 secrets. I hope this was helpful. I just want to remind you that none of those 4 secrets had anything to do with what you're eating or what exercise you're doing or what meal plan you're following. Those are the things that people tend to jump to focusing on when they're looking to lose weight. And those are the things that will have the smallest impact on your actual results. So start implementing these 4 secrets. And if you have any questions, be sure to send me a comment or send me a message. I'm here to help you. And until next time, I'll see you later.